Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to a Tuesday edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast, as we're always broadcasting live from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. It's Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. And joining me right now, as he does every Tuesday, a very busy individual. Yes, he is Alan Zlotorzynski with Brevard Sports Network. And for everyone watching and listening, yes, his favorite establishment that he goes to from time to time, a car drove into the establishment. And I know you're very, very upset about this.
Well, first of all, let's backtrack for just a second there, partner.
What?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite establishment. I would say I've had some fun there. I would not say, yeah, well, let's just leave it all at that. But unfortunate that, see, now you got me thinking, right?
I know you got thinking. I knew it. I had to do it.
You have done this to me, and I knew, what's it been, about 4 years since that particular incident?
Yeah. So
it's the first. Yeah, you picked the right time to do it, buddy.
Yeah, I did. So in case you're like, what are you two talking about? What's this insider info? So there's this place. All right, if you're watching us and you're not in Florida, there is a place on US 1, and US 1 goes all throughout the state of Florida. There's this place we go to called the Pineda Inn. It's a great place.
It is. It is a great place.
So what was so crazy was some wacko driver drove into the establishment, drove their vehicle into the front. Luckily, no one was hurt. Everything's fine. This is why you have insurance. But, dude, when I saw that, I thought of you right away because you have many adventures.
I'll bet you did.
PG-13, okay, type adventures. So I say this to everyone. Keep your eyes on the road at all times. So you need to do. So let's get into
it. But in my defense, what we're talking about wasn't anything I could happen. All right. So what are we doing? Where are we going first?
I want to give you credit.
Okay.
I'm going to say this right now. This is positive. When you and me did a special during the pandemic of 2020, we did an NFL draft kind of watch party, and we did the first round of the draft, and the Dolphins were on the clock at 5. And when they took Tua, and everyone knew they were going to take Tua at number 5, it was tank for Tua. Allen was the only guy in the moment to step up and go, this is a stupid pick. This is the wrong move. I hate this pick. I don't like it. Everyone else was excited. Everyone was, I thought in the time, I will admit it. I was like, all right, here we go. It's Tua. They got their guy. Let's get him out there. No, you were there. I'm throwing you your flowers. You hated the pick, and you were right 6 years later. The podium is yours, buddy.
I didn't like to me, he was that okay, what do we have to lose quarterback pick in the first round? You see a lot of teams do it today because of the way the salary cap situation is, right? You're not penalized like you were 20 years ago if you sign look, 20 years ago, if you signed a quarterback or if you drafted a quarterback in the first round, Mark, you paid him unbelievable amount of money. I mean, you really coughed up a lot of money. That's not the case anymore, and teams can move on from these quarterbacks. Mark, all we have to do is look at that draft or the draft before that and look at where all of those quarterbacks are. Almost 3/4 of the quarterbacks in that draft are not. Look at Baker Mayfield. He was the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, Sam Darnold was in that as well, and multiple teams.
So it's like, NFL teams have this philosophy, Mark, where because there's a rookie salary cap, they can gamble on picks like this. My issue with the pick was that Chris Grier, at the time, who I believe was the GM at the time, he was really beginning to accumulate a lot of substantial draft capital. And I never felt like or saw anything that gave me any indication that Tua Tagovailoa was the kind of guy that you could build a franchise around. He just never became that for them. He had his moments. But outside of his moments, Mark, he was a bust in Miami.
It's interesting because I think of my time here in Florida and knowing you as well, where we talk NFL. And I always appreciate coming on from the standpoint, hey, it was tank for Tua. They wanted Tua. That was that season before. We're going to be the worst team, and then we're going to get Tua in that draft. And going into that season, Tua was the best quarterback. Remember, there was no Joe Burrow yet with LSU until he started playing. And yet Justin Herbert at Oregon and all that stuff. And you know what's the crazy thing I think about in hindsight? Brian Flores was the coach at the time.
Right.
And Flores is like, no, I don't want this guy.
He didn't want the pick either. And,
no,
one day a lot more is going to come out about that entire situation. Like, I think he made the Pro Bowl. I'm looking at it. The Pro Bowl in 2023 led the NFL in passer rating in 2022. NFL completion percentage leader in 2024. Like I said, this guy had his moments.
Yeah.
And if he stays healthy, Mark, I'm giving you your flowers, right? I mean, I don't think he ever becomes Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or Lamar Jackson, but he becomes a quarterback that can lead a team like the Dolphins.
All right. I said this yesterday, but I'll say it to you. You and me were on the sidelines January 1st, 2020 at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando for Michigan, Alabama. We're on the sidelines. Stephen Ross walks by us, and so does Tua walk by us in the crutches. Remember, because he had the injuries at Alabama, but we didn't know about what was going to happen with the Dolphins, where he kept getting the head injuries, and he left those games. It's such a weird timeline with him.
He only played 9 games his senior season at Alabama, and I can remember when Stephen Ross walked right by us. You looked at me and went, he's here to see his man.
You're absolutely right.
That's exactly what you said. You said he's here to see his quarterback.
And it's funny where if you look in college, remember, they're in the national title game, one of the most famous games. They're taking on Georgia. Jalen Hurts, who now appears as the better NFL quarterback than Tua will ever be. Remember, Saban benches Jalen Hurts, puts the freshman Tua in. He throws the ball to Devontae Smith in overtime. And it's crazy to think Smith wins a Heisman, Tua doesn't. They win the title. Everything's about Tua. Hurts has to leave to go to Oklahoma. It's the weirdest timeline. Alan, it needs its own 30 for 30 documentary. Those two quarterbacks, how they're linked forever.
I agree. I totally agree. And listen, I thought the Dolphins surrounded him with, they had good running backs. Miami had good running backs. I am a fan of Mike McDaniel. Aren't you?
As a coordinator
yes.
And a schemer?
Calling an offense. I mean, I'm talking from an offensive perspective. I'm a fan of his, okay? I like what he does. I thought as far as wide receivers were concerned, I don't ever think they got to the right type of receivers there. He didn't have the big arm, Mark. He didn't have the arm that could go 60 yards down the field, right? And those are the types of wide receivers that he had. I think maybe you get him a Tyreek Hill, but you got to go get guys that can get open underneath, possession-type receivers, guys that can run 12, 14, 18-yard routes. That's not Tyreek Hill. That's not, that's not what the Dolphins had.
I agree with you 100% from the standpoint. Jalen Waddle was a little too similar to Tyreek Hill.
They're both speedsters.
And look, the whole offense was a precision speed offense, but you could neutralize it, especially in late December and January in the cold weather. It got shut down after a while.
Well, you could also neutralize it by putting pressure on Tua. I mean, I think that's the other thing it's going to be interesting moving forward.
How did the Dolphins brass at the time? And I know this is hindsight. How do you look at Justin Herbert body-wise with that arm? And look, Herbert's won nothing in the NFL. He's been in the playoffs a couple times. But especially you had Dan Marino, the greatest Dolphin of them all. You could have had Dan Marino 2.0, but you went with the smaller, gimmicky guy in Tua. That's going to be the what if forever. Why did you do that? Why?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. But again, Justin Herbert hasn't.
I know
he's not blowing my socks off in this league. 3 years ago, we were talking about Justin Herbert up there with the Josh Allens of the world, right? We're not doing that anymore.
No.
Herbert's not mentioned in that group anymore. And look, I know he was beat up. I know his offensive line was terrible, but these guys have been around a while now, Mark.
So it's crazy in hindsight. He got 2 coaches fired, Brian Flores and Mike McDaniel. 2 coaches fired. The Dolphins have to eat $99 million over 2 seasons, all off Tua. 6 years, 0 playoff wins, 0. Nothing from after everything we did the last 6 years, nothing out of Tua. And I feel bad. He's probably a nice guy, but it was a failure. He's not a Jamarcus Russell. He's not a complete flame out as a quarterback in the NFL. He won games, but it was a bust pick after a while.
I think the Dolphins went and turned around and signed the perfect quarterback.
You like it?
I like the Malik Willis signing. I do. Listen. You watch Malik Willis play at the end of the year. I thought he looked good. He got hurt in that game against your Bears, but the Bears didn't stop Malik Willis.
No. All right. So here's the what if. If Jordan Love does not get injured in that Week 16 game in Chicago, does Malik Willis get these offers? No. That's so wild. I'm with you 100%. His stats, here's what's funny. He's played on 2 teams. Remember, drafted late by Tennessee, barely played. Then he's the backup to Jordan Love, 2 seasons there in Green Bay. In 4 years, he has thrown the ball, attempted 155 passes. He's only completed 6 touchdowns. And he got $45 million guaranteed over 3 years. And you know what? It's not even that much money if you think about it over 3 years.
He's 3-3 as a starter.
Yeah.
We'll see. I like the way Malik. I watched him play against Tyler Huntley the following week, and
that's right.
And Snoop outplayed him big time in that particular game. I mean, we absolutely destroyed Malik Willis the following week.
I have no expectations with him as the quarterback. I don't. And I know, look, the GM, the coach, they all have these Green Bay ties. That also helped Malik Willis getting there to Miami. But there's a part of me, I still think maybe they're going to be one of the worst teams in football. That's just my –
Who are they tanking for next year? Arch?
I think right now, I know it's March 10th. I think this fall is going to be the Arch Manning show. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams tanking for Arch Manning now.
I think the Dolphins certainly got a foot up on that race.
They do. And the problem is their division rival, the Jets, will be right there with them to try to tank it out.
The problem is the Jets play good defense.
And what do the Dolphins do?
Nothing.
No, nothing. Okay. We're calling it right now. It was a privilege and an honor to talk Tua with you over the last 6 seasons. Most of it was a disappointment. And I will admit it, when they scored 70 points against Denver, I was like, okay, we got a contender. And then it just...
Well, again, he had those games. I watched him decimate the Ravens 2 years ago.
That's right.
In the second half, he puts up 35 second-half points, and they come back and beat the Ravens.
I remember this game.
And so... Like I said, he showed he had his moments, but he couldn't do it for 4 quarters, and he couldn't do it for 17 games.
I think it kind of ended when they went to his one playoff start. They're there in Kansas City. And it's -5 degrees outside. And I remember this game because it was on, I don't know, Peacock or Hulu.
It was Peacock. You and I were texting during it.
Yeah, so I had to go. We held a watch party of walk-ons because no one had Peacock at the time. And it was great ratings, and everyone showed up except the Dolphins in that playoff game.
It was like -7.
and the offense couldn't do anything.
No.
Nothing.
No.
The Dolphins are going to have Malik Willis. Notice, and this might change the next 5 minutes, no one's picked up Tyreek Hill.
No, I know.
No.
And it's going to be another Odell Beckham situation with him. And I feel, look, and I hate sitting here talking bad about the Dolphins. Our very good friend, she watches the show, Miss Cheryl Evdelis, right? She watches the show. She's been a Dolphins fan since, the Lord, our Savior, was a baby, right? I mean, and I just feel bad for all these Dolphins fans because, I feel bad about bitching about anything with the Ravens because down here people go, well, at least you're not a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, look, I say this to people who don't live in the state of Florida. The Miami Dolphins is the number one, and you could debate me on this. This is my opinion. Of all the pro sports we have in this state, they're the number one brand where everyone's grandfather grew up with the Dolphins. Essentially, we live on 95, the East Coast. We're not far from Miami. Dolphins is like the biggest.
One of my earliest recollections at a football game growing up was the Baltimore Colts and the Miami Dolphins. The Baltimore Colts and the Miami Dolphins used to play in the AFC East.
Yeah.
Okay. But they played twice a year. And Mark, I've seen Bob Greasy, Don Strock, Nat Moore. I've seen I saw Dan Marino play as a rookie. I've seen all of those guys, right? All of those guys play. I was at a game where Tony Linhart for the Baltimore Colts I was a kid, 7 years old, kicked the field goal in the fog to beat the Dolphins for a division title. So, yeah, man. Listen, I remember those Dolphins teams and how great they were. There was always a battle between the Colts and the Dolphins because Don Shula began his playing career in Baltimore, began his coaching career in Baltimore, and then for whatever reason, Carol Rosenblum couldn't get along with him, and he ended up in Miami.
Yeah, and he's a legend. He's a legend for both teams. Yeah. We're here at the Zlotorzynski Brevard Sports Network. All right, that's the Dolphins. And by the way, Tua, now with the Atlanta Falcons, 1-year deal, $1 million. Because honestly, Tua has enough money. You know what? I think he's going to start. I think he's going to be the starter there.
I'm going to tell you right now, these quarterbacks like Tua, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, so much better on their second or third teams than they have been with their first teams. And the reason is there's no pressure on Tua in Atlanta.
No.
He's going to be able to go there. He's going to be able to relax. And I'll bet you this. We still have yet to see the best of Tua yet. I still think Tua is going to put together a season and lead a team into the playoffs. And it could be the Falcons.
I think he is going to outplay Michael Penix.
I agree.
And Penix is injured. I mean, so many injuries with him. And Tua has his own injuries. He has offensive weapons there in Atlanta. Yeah. They're in a dome, right? They'll go to the Saints in a dome. You have to just go to Tampa, nice weather, and Carolina. I think he's going to be the starter there. I really do.
I agree. I think he's going to have – listen, the one thing Kevin Stefanski loves to do is he loves to run the football. He's got one of the best running backs in the NFL in Bijan Robinson. Tua can run the play action well. We saw that in Miami, right? I think Tua's going to have success in Atlanta.
All right, let's stick with that division. This is the segue for Alan. A lot of Buccaneers fans, including your boy Caleb, who was texting me yesterday, our guy Anthony Knockreiner, no one loves the Bucs more than him. Multiple Bucs fans were so heartbroken yesterday about Mike Evans leaving. 3-year deal with San Francisco. 3-year deal. And he did the press release pretty much saying you need a new challenge and everything. Honestly, I'm going to say this right now from the bottom of my heart. I don't blame Mike Evans. He wants to compete. He's going to a better coach. And I think he has a chance to get to the Super Bowl. I do. Now, do I think he's going to get 100 catches, his norm? No. I think he made the right decision. And I've seen the whole career of Mike Evans there in Tampa Bay. I think it was the right move, and it looked terrible for Tampa. What is your thoughts, Alan?
I agree with you. Listen, Mike Evans had a beautiful career. He won a Super Bowl there. It was time. It's just sometimes it's just time.
Yeah.
I get it that Bucs fans wanted Mike Evans to end his career as a Buccaneer. I understand that, but that only happens, Mark, if that's what the player wants. This indicates to me more than anything, Mark, that Mike Evans didn't feel like that the Bucs were in a direction where they were going to win now.
Mm.
And
No.
that's what that, I mean, if you're looking for the biggest sign as to what that told you, that's what that should tell you. That the Bucs won't win next year, or at least be in contention for that division. It wasn't like he signed a, bank-breaking deal, right? This was truly about wanting another challenge somewhere else where he has an opportunity to maybe go play in one more Super Bowl.
Remember last offseason, he was flirting with the idea of leaving anyway. Maybe I go to Houston. Maybe I go to Kansas City. No, stays in the conference. And honestly, the other thing is every year he's getting a new offensive coordinator, right? You're not sure about the coaching staff. They did not make the playoffs last year. This is what's funny. You forget Carolina won the division and should have beaten the Rams in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be a favorite to win the division next fall. I don't. And I look, honestly, in hindsight, and I could be wrong, Todd Bowles should have been fired as well.
I said that very thing to Caleb. I said, I think the biggest mistake the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made was that they didn't fire Bowles. This was an outstanding cycle of head coaches available. I felt this was a terrific pool. Both veteran head coaches like a Kevin Stefanski and some new guys like, a Jesse Minter, right? And I thought the Buccaneers really made a mistake in keeping Bowles.
All right, so here's what they did. They get Alex Alonso. I can't even say it without laughing. Anzalone from the Lions, linebacker, veteran, bring him in. Kenneth Gainwell, running back from the Steelers, they sign him. Cade Otton, he's coming back as well. But you know what? It doesn't give a bleep because every Buccaneers fan's thinking, why isn't 13? Why isn't he coming back to our team? And the stat I saw, and I want your thoughts on this. All right, so in the history of Tampa sports, Steven Stamkos, maybe the greatest Lightning player of all time, left. Evan Longoria, greatest Tampa Bay Rays player of all time, left. And now Mike Evans, probably the greatest Buck of them all, left. They all leave after a while. All of them.
Hey, listen to me. Listen, Bucs fans. I was blessed to actually get to see a guy like Ray Lewis play his whole career in Baltimore. But even the Ravens let him go be a free agent, and he nearly signed with Dallas. But
it happens.
But listen, when Tom Brady and Peyton Manning don't spend their whole careers in New England and Indianapolis, everything else is a moot point. Guys like Wayne Gretzky don't spend his whole career in Edmonton. It's rare to see it. When you see it, it's a blessing, but I wouldn't expect it anymore.
He leads the franchise in receptions, yardage, touchdowns. He had 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, tying Jerry Rice. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't want to hear first ballot, and he is Mount Rushmore Buccaneer, and he might be the greatest Buccaneer of them all.
I can still remember the catch he made on an ESPN, Texas A&M, right?
Yeah.
I can still remember the catch he made on the sidelines one night playing for Texas A&M, where I still don't know how he got his foot in bounds.
Stud. Dude, when I think of him, he got drafted in 2014. I went to training camp, and you've been to many training camps. Mm-hmm. And they're doing these different drills with all the wide receivers. Dude, it was out of some sports movie. Mm-hmm. Most wide receivers show up 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2". This dude is 6'4", 6'5", runs like a deer, and he jumps like he's Air Jordan. The guy was a stud, and he still is.
He was. And good luck to him, and I feel bad.
He's a Niner.
I feel bad for guys like Caleb and Knock and You know, I just do. You know, Gary, a good, you know, Jackson stepdad. I mean, I feel bad for these guys, right? But
He won. Look, he won a Super Bowl. I don't like once you win. This is my rule. Like in the Olympics, I don't know if I told you this. If you're an Olympian and you win a gold medal, I don't care. You showed up in 4th place. You won the medal. You're done.
Do you really want Mike Sims, or do you?
What? There's too many names. I know, dude.
Do you really want him for 3 more years? I mean, I don't think you do. I don't think you want Mike Evans for 3. And he's not going to play 3 more years.
Ibuka, who they got from Ohio State in the 1st round last year, he needs to have a breakout year. And I would not be shocked if the Buccaneers go draft another wide receiver in high in this draft to help out Baker Mayfield. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, don't be surprised to see Tyreek Hill end up there.
Yeah, look, this is on the table. All right, we've gone 26 minutes. What's so funny about you, your trade was insane Friday night, but there's been so many moves since then, people start to forget about what happened Friday night. And the best was I texted you and other people texted you. You were working on something else. You didn't know that your Baltimore Ravens, and let me say this, in the history of your young franchise, which has been around for about 30 years, you have never traded a 1st-round pick. You traded 2 first-round picks, and you outbid everyone to get Max Crosby. What are your thoughts, buddy?
I mean, this is a Hall of Fame pass rusher, Mark. And
you're hyped.
Huh?
You are hyped. That's what this is.
Let me tell you something. There is nobody at 14 that's going to be Max Crosby. And we ain't drafted 14 next year, brother. Let me tell you something, brother. We ain't drafting 14 next year, right? That pick next year, it's in the 20s late. Hopefully, 30. It's pick 32, okay? Which is what I think it's going to be. What do I think of having Max Crosby? We couldn't put a hand on a quarterback last year if he was driving in a cab next to us, okay? We sucked at rushing the quarterback last year. What do I think of Max Crosby? It's the best trade in the history of the franchise.
I heard a radio interview, I think it was 2 days ago over the weekend, and it was Rocket Ismail, Quadre Ismail. All right. Is that the same guy or is that 2 different guys? I get confused here.
Same guy. He's got a brother, but
I knew he had a brother.
Ismail,
right? Okay. So he made this point talking about the Ravens. He goes, look, if we keep that pick at 14, we're just going to take another defensive back. We're just going to take the same old Ravens pick. It won't move the needle. It won't do this. And he was just like you. Let's bleeping go.
Right.
Time to put the chips in, and we got to go beat the stupid Bills. Let's go. So you're ready, man. You're ready.
And you know, a guy we thought was going to retire because of a medical issue is going to be coming back now in Matabikwe. So we get him back now. We got the 2nd-year kid Green out of Marshall, who was pretty good last year. So yeah, I'll tell you the one that stings. And listen, everybody's like, well, you lost Tyler Linderbaum. Who cares? Look, Tyler Linderbaum may be one of the best centers in the NFL, but there ain't no center in the NFL worth $27 million a year. No. The Baltimore Ravens, I found out from a friend that they actually offered him close to $22.5 million a year. That would have made him that would have set them the market for centers. That would have made him the highest paid center. Here come the Raiders offering, Deshaun Watson type money for a center, right? 27 million. No, the Ravens did the absolute. You don't pay a center $27 million. What the hell is wrong with Mark Davis and the Raiders? And you want to know why they suck every year? Because of stuff like that, Mark. But the one that hurt was we lost our punter, who was the best. He signed with John Harbaugh in New York.
Harbaugh.
We had the best punter in the league. And
Harbaugh had to get back at you guys. That's how he stuck it to you, taking the punter.
He took our punter, man, and I was like, wow, man, that one hurt. But
Okay.
I think we'll look. This is and I'll tell you another big move that the Bucs fans, thank goodness, because they also lost Jamel Dean yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you post about that. He's going to Pittsburgh
Yay!
on a multi-year deal. Oh, you don't like it. And I know you've talked to Jamel many times.
Yeah.
You don't like it. You don't like he's on a division rival. This is a no. You can't.
Well, Jamel had a really good year last year. I was looking at some of his numbers, and he had a really good year last year. And Caleb sent me a text jokingly, of course, and he's like, "Now we can hate him together."
Jamel's a great guy.
He is.
That's so funny.
That's
So is it Super Bowl or bust? Now you got Crosby.
I think this franchise, Mark, with Lamar Jackson at quarterback the last 2 years, and until the day he's not wearing purple, is Super Bowl or bust. I don't care who's what doing what. I think, new coach, I don't care. I don't care what happens unless it prevents us from getting to the playoffs like it did last year. I don't care what happens from September until the last weekend in December. It for this franchise, and they're one of the select few in the NFL where this is the mantra every year. It's Super Bowl or bust. It's that way in Buffalo. I don't know if it's that way in Kansas City right now based on their situation, but it's that way in Buffalo. It's that way in Seattle. It's that way in San Francisco. Super Bowl or bust. Philadelphia. That's the mantra, no matter who's there.
What does Crosby have to do stat-wise for you next year?
If he stays healthy, 15 sacks. I think he gets 15 sacks because I think he really opens it up for the Matabikways of the world. I think as long as the Ravens can stay healthy up front, they'll have the best pass rush in the National Football League.
So, again, from having no pass rush.
Yeah.
And what was your joke? Even if they were driving right by you?
If I was sitting in a cab with a quarterback, if the Ravens were, they still couldn't touch him.
You're all in. You are in. And I loved, again, I messaged you. You had no idea because you were busy working on other things.
I looked at it. I was like, are you kidding me? I thought when you texted me, I thought you were setting me up because the Bears, I really thought he was either going to end up in Chicago or Dallas.
I heard the rumor. Okay, it's twofold, those two teams. Dallas offered the first and a second round pick. They said no. The Bears offered the 2 first-round picks, but your Ravens had the better offer because you were in the teens. So that helped you out. So it's going to be interesting to see in hindsight.
Being a bad team has its benefits every once in a while.
You guys, with this move, should be the favorite to win the division. I don't care about
favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, you're going that far, huh? You're going that.
Yeah,
all right. Well, my team, in case anyone cares, we did some sneaky moves where we took Kobe Bryant. I still can't believe that's his name. The safety from the Seahawks. We got him to solidify the secondary. And Devin Bush, who was on the Steelers, then on the Browns last year, to be a linebacker for us. Dude, I could have gotten linebackers from Palm Bay High School. It would have been better than the Bears linebackers last year. I'm not kidding around. That is sneaky, but I'm still in this draft. Now that we don't have Max Crosby, still defense in the draft, nonstop. And DJ Moore, we got rid of him. Second round pick. We have defense. We cannot start every game down 15 poents. We can't do it.
Khalif Raymond's not DJ Moore, by the way. Just want to put that out there. Listen. I don't like the second round pick.
What did you want? You wanted more?
I thought I thought he was worth a first, didn't you? If you're getting it from the Bills, that's a late first round pick, Mark. I think you can ask for it.
They just didn't want to pay him. Unless you're a quarterback, every other thing, get as much money as you can at your position, and the minute you sign it, Alan, the team's thinking about how can we get rid of you.
Or unless you're a quarterback or the best pass rusher in the last 7 years.
Oh, you're the best. You're so great. You're the man. All right, before I let you go, we previewed this last week. How did it go last Saturday with that high school game where they were raising money for your boy Caleb with his surgeries coming up.
Come on, man. You got to give me a couple extra minutes because we got a lot actually going
Yeah.
on. I'll make it short, man.
No. Hey, take your time. Don't worry.
We got a lot of state champions that I got to talk about. So it went great, and I want to thank Ted Kimmy, James Phillips, Coach Bronca, Coach Johnson, everybody, Coach Kelsey, everybody who made this event happen. It was a tremendous success. I'll be writing a community thank you once all the final numbers come in, but it was just a tremendous success. And it's hysterical. You know what Kelsey is running it, right? When the most expensive auction item was a Taylor Swift poster signed.
Did you buy it? Is that what it was?
I'm not going to say who did buy it. I know who bought it, but he's got that connection. That's his. I think that's his nephew's.
It's so crazy, dude.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. But
it was a great. And the baseball game was phenomenal, Mark. Phenomenal. I mean, it was 13-12 was the final.
How long did it take? 5 hours?
It was a 2.5-hour game. It was a pretty good game.
So not a good pitching matchup. But if you like offense,
the pitching they left a lot of. Let's just say they left a lot of balls out over the plate.
It's okay. So I'm very happy that went well for you. I know it's an uphill battle there for Caleb. He's a great guy, and hopefully he gets all this, money raised so he can get those surgeries done. All right. It's a crazy story. All right. Like you said, what else going on for high school sports then?
All right, let's first congratulate Holy Trinity girls basketball. They finished as state runners up, but that's not the story. The story is they went up to Jacksonville and played one of the best teams in the country in Miami Country Day, ranked in the top 10 in the country, the number 1 ranked girls basketball team in Florida. And Holy Trinity nearly beat them. 49-44 was the final. It's their 11th state championship they've won since 2014 Miami Country Day. And the 5 points is the smallest margin of victory in any state championship.
Wow.
So congratulations to Will Gibson and the Holy Trinity girls basketball team. Head coach Jonathan Frazier takes his Bayside Lady Bears up to Jacksonville this week, and they will play in the 6A Final Four against Bartram Trail on Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Nice.
I expect them to win and play for a state championship. In fact, they are the favorites going into that game. And then, Mark, we had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 state champions in wrestling. We had Gustav Ferrero at 157 pounds in 1A for Cocoa Beach. Congratulations to him. Trey Driggett in 1A, 190 pounds for Merritt Island. Timmy Boda in 138 pounds in 1A. For Boda, it's his 2nd straight state championship at Merritt Island. And we had our first state championship since 31 years at Rockledge as Vlad Drown won a 106-pound state championship in wrestling in 2A. Since I've been doing Brevard Sports Networks, that's the most individual state wrestling champions we've had in a year.
Congratulations. That is awesome, dude. That really is. All right. Are you calling any games tonight or tomorrow night?
Oh, yeah. Baseball. I've got 12-0 and state-ranked number 7 Merritt Island hosting Satellite tonight. And tomorrow night, I've got a top 25 team in the Vieira Hawks who are hosting the Melbourne Bulldogs tomorrow night in baseball. So a lot of good baseball going on. Softball right now is terrific. Melbourne beat the number 1 team in the state 3-0 last Friday night. So, Mark, we got some ballers in this county right now.
That is awesome. Follow Brevard Sports Network online for the latest. Alan does a great job. And I'll end with this. Are you watching the World Baseball Classic?
Absolutely, man. What red-blooded American isn't?
I'm watching in the background. I'm not okay. I watched the game last night against Mexico. All right, Paul Skeens is just a stud. A best pitcher in baseball. He really is. I'm not it's not like I'm like, all right, stop everything we're doing. I have to, watch this with both my eyes for 4 straight hours. But I'm watching the background. Are you completely into it?
Yeah.
You're watching all these games. You are. Okay.
Yes, and not only just the United States, but I'm watching the Dominican Republic. I'm watching Puerto Rico. I'm watching all of these teams play. It is a phenomenal brand of baseball. I absolutely love the crowd enthusiasm in these games. I love the way the players. I mean, I'm watching Gunnar Henderson Saturday night hit a double. I've never seen Gunnar Henderson act like that after hitting a double. Arms pumping, fist pumping. Yeah, I mean, this is special. And I think as we get a little further along into it, the casual fans like yourself, it will become more than a background thing.
I'll say this. I think we're getting a rematch we had 4 years ago. I think it's Japan and USA again for the title.
Boy,
I think
Shohei Ohtani's unbelievable.
He is insane what he's doing. They destroyed everyone in the Tokyo Dome. Wasn't even close. No. You're right. Alan Zlotorzynski, he is the Ohtani of guests on this show. My man, thanks for your help. Have a great day. All right.
Take care, buddy.